We are who we say we are. We are not average. We were born to be great. That's right. One and only Jose Alonso has a podcast. One Day You'll See podcast. Hello there and welcome to the One Day You'll See podcast. This is your host, Jose Alonso, and thank you for tuning in to the One Day You'll See podcast, where we're inspiring you to become better by discussing different topics, ideas, goals, and stories. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Now, today's episode, I'm going to be talking about some success stories. People that I have done research on, who have studied to become great, right? Because in order for you to become great, you also need to study greatness, right? So these three people that I'm going to be talking about are people that have just studied recently or currently continue to study so we can become great as they are. Three people I'm going to be talking about. The first one is going to be Steve Harvey. The second one I'm going to be talking about is going to be Bad Bunny. And the third one I'm going to be talking about is Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay? So we're going to start off by talking about Steve Harvey. Now, for those of you who don't know who Steve Harvey is, very successful man. His story is very inspiring. It inspired me, and I'm sure it's going to inspire you as well. And I'm just going to touch on some very key points of his life to get him where he grew up, how he grew up, to where he is now. So now Steve Harvey, when he was young, his dream was to come out in TV. That was his dream, to come out in the television. The only thing is that nobody in his family, nobody in his city ever had any kind of success. When he was young, his teacher told the whole class to write down what they want to be when they grow up. A lot of kids, like normal kids like you and I, we wrote down that we want to be teachers, we want to be lawyers, we want to be doctors, we want to be police officers, etc., etc. But when he wrote in his paper, he wrote that he wants to be on TV. The teacher called him up to the class, in front of the class. He read that he wants to be on TV, and everybody made fun of him and laughed. The teacher especially. And the teacher said, who in your family, who in the community has ever been on television? Right? So she didn't believe in him because also he had a stuttering problem. He would stutter when he would talk, which is a big issue, right? So what happened, as he grew older, he worked, he worked different jobs. By the time he got to age 27, he got introduced to comedy and he fell in love with it, of telling jokes, right? So what he did, he quit his job and he went into comedy to follow his dream. Right, to follow that gift that he had, that he found. But what happened is that at that time, his wife split up with him, right? He became homeless. He was living in his car for 3 years. And the money he was making, most of it went to his ex-wife and his daughters as well. The way he will go through life is that he will stop at hotels, at the restroom to wash up. He'll stop at swimming pools. You know, after you get out the swimming pool, there's some showers where you can, clean off the chlorine. So that's what he do. He shower in those places as he move up. Now, work ethic. He kept working, and he always kept his faith, and he always stayed consistent, right? And because of his faith, his hard work, and his consistency, one day you'll see, right? One day he got a phone call from Apollo, a very well-known successful company, telling him that they want him to come out to the Apollo Theater because they have a show for him to come out in Showtime. Ever since that day, it was history, right? He got a lot of opportunities. It allowed him to have the success that he has now. The success that he has now, number one, he has multiple TV shows. Number two, he has a radio show where he inspires and talks about motivation and faith and other topics. Number three, he's a very well-known successful author from various books that he has. And also he has a movement where he takes young African Americans and single moms to this retreat to help them and mentor them to become better in their life. So that's what success that Steve Harvey has, where he grew up, which is very inspiring. Second person I'm going to talk about is Bad Bunny, a very well-known Latin artist, musician, right? His story is very inspiring as well because at the age of 5, he made a decision, right? All it takes is making a decision. He made a decision that he wants to be a singer at the age of 5. What happened is that his mom will take him to church every single day, every single Sunday, and he will sing in public in church. That was his opportunity. That was his platform, right? The church liked how he sang, so they invited him to sing at the choir, and he sang at the choir from church until he was 13 years old. Once he turned 13 years old, he made a decision that he wants to do something different. He wants to experiment different things, different tones, because he got inspired from a very well-known artist called Daddy Yankee, right? Because we all get inspired by somebody, so he got inspired by Daddy Yankee. Trying out different tones, different kind of experiments when it comes to singing. So he kept working, and what he did, he had to make some money. So his hustle was that he was cleaning computers, as well he was downloading music into a USB, and he was selling the USB to people with music in it, right? That's the way he was grinding, that's the way he was hustling. So he kept working. In 2016 in Puerto Rico, he still had a job. He was working at a supermarket. While he was still doing his music, right? So while he was doing his music, he would upload it in different areas in the internet and in SoundCloud and different areas where you could upload music. Now, one day, this record label called Hear the Music, they liked his music and they liked him as a person, so they signed him to be a part of that group, right? From there, it was history from there. After that, there was a very well-known Latin artist. His name was Arcangel. He made music, and they made music, and they made videos together. They moved him over in 2017 to work with a very known artist called J Balvin, right? A very well-known Latin artist, J Balvin. They made a song called Si tu novio te deja sola, if your boyfriend leaves you alone. And that music video, it got millions and millions of views. And a lot of people were noticing more of Bad Bunny. So because a lot of artists were noticing him, they started collaborating with him. They started making music with him. And that's how he started to become well known. And because of success of him working, where he was working in Puerto Rico and uploading his music in the internet, just looking for audience, that caused him to be now in today's day one of the top Latin artists in today's world, in today's time, right? Allowing him to win a lot of awards and also helping out the community and his country. Because not too long ago in Puerto Rico, there was a really big hurricane, and he created a movement called La Nueva Religión, which is in Spanish for the new religion. So he donates shoes, he donates clothes, he donates food, he donates a lot of things. So a very nice guy from the heart. Now that's Bad Bunny, where he was, how success he is now. The third person I'm going to be talking about is Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is one of my favorites because I studied him ever since I was young. Because I played a lot of soccer and he was one of my role models. I wanted to be like Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He was my inspiration. Now, even up to this day, it's not only in the game of soccer, but also in his way of life, his entrepreneurial route, right? Now, Cristiano Ronaldo, he lived in Portugal. Very well-known soccer player right now. He lived in Portugal. He lived in a house where the roof was leaking. He's the youngest of three other siblings. And he didn't know the soccer at all. The cool thing is that the way he got introduced to soccer, his dad introduced him to the sport at the age of 7. That's when he started playing, and that's when he started becoming better and better. Now, he officially joined his dad's team at the age of 10 because his dad was actually the equipment manager for that local soccer team. But his first game was in 1993. That was his first official game for the game of soccer. Right? He worked. At the age of 11, he actually got signed by a team called Lisbon Sporting. But he actually moved away from his family 600 miles away at the age of 12 because they started to pay him. He started to make money at the age of 12. Now he worked. He kept going to school. He had a problem in school that at the age of 14, he actually threw a chair to a teacher. Right? He threw a chair to a teacher, and that's pretty crazy. And the reason he did that is because he felt like the teacher was disrespecting him, right? He felt like the teacher was disrespecting him, which is not good. Now, he got expelled from school. He went to another school. His grades were the worst because he was so focused into soccer. At the age of 15, he actually had a heart problem called let me see if I say this correctly. The thing that he had was tachycardia. Hopefully I said that correctly. But he had tachycardia, which is a disease in his heart. So he had to get surgery and he got operated. You know, by God's grace, everything went well. A few days later, he went to go play soccer again. Right? That's how strong and passionate he is about the sport. He kept working. Age of 17, he played Manchester United. Now, Manchester United loved how he played. They were fascinated by his talent. They signed him. He started playing for Manchester United at the age of 17 years old. That's back in 2002. A few years later, his dad passes away when he's 20 years old in 2005. He passes away from drinking too much alcohol. So alcoholism. And that's the reason why Cristiano Ronaldo hardly drinks at all, because it reminds him of his dad's death. Now moving on, he keeps working. 2006, he plays for the international team for Portugal, which is huge to play for your international team. It's a big deal. He works. He moves on and wins a Ballon d'Oro. It's an award for being the best player in the whole entire world. Ballon d'Oro. It's a phenomenal award, and that was his first one in 2008. He worked. His time with Manchester United ended, and he moved over with Real Madrid, soccer team in Spain. And that's where he worked, and he was actually the second highest paid transfer behind David Beckham. He kept working. He became a father in 2010, his firstborn child. In 2016, it was one of his biggest, most happiest moments in his life, because in 2016 he helped his international team won the international trophy. So Portugal was actually the champion of the international cup that year, 2016. So which is a huge deal to win with your international team, right? He kept working. That same year, 2016, he actually had twin babies. So now he has 3 children. The year after that, he has another baby. So now he's a father of 4. Right, and he continued to be better. Now, his time with Real Madrid is done. 2018, he leaves Real Madrid and he moves over to Juventus, right, another soccer team in another league, to challenge himself. And he continues to challenge himself to become the best. Now, his success for him is that now he's one of the best players in the whole league, or even in the history of soccer. He's one of the best players in the history of soccer. Another thing he has is his CR7 brand, which covers fragrances, clothing, shoes, hotels all around the world, right? Another thing is that he has this $1 billion deal with Nike. $1 billion deal with a B with Nike. That's a huge deal, right? And another thing is that he donates a lot of his money. He donates millions of dollars to a lot of charities. So he's a guy with a big heart. He likes to help out people as well. So guys, these are the 3 people we talked about. We talked about Steve Harvey. We talked about Bad Bunny, and we talked about Cristiano Ronaldo. These people are great, and they continue to be great and show greatness and inspire people like us, because if they can do it, so can we, right? So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to the One Day You'll See podcast. Remember to continue to show kindness. Remember to always show love. Remember to always show happiness and help others when they need the help. Because one day you'll see. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace.